show you guys Eagle's New Kid in Town, but I'm really going to break it down because I noticed most of the guitar, or pretty much all the lessons on this song, they just play it. They don't really show you how to do it, so I'm really going to try to show you note for note, position for position, how to do this song. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, really pretty Eagle song called New Kid in Town. I'm going to play the intro and then break it down. Here we go. So the intro starts with a partial E with your second finger on the 9th fret, your D string 9th fret, ring finger, G string 9th fret, and your first finger on the B string 7th fret, and uses your pinky on the B string on the 9th fret. And that's how I get that. And open E on the top. And I'm only playing the top 4 strings, D down. So I'm not playing the E or the A strings. And I just use my pinky to get that modulation in those 2 notes. Okay. Then you're going to use your your index finger on the D string 4th fret and G string 4th fret. Just those 2 notes. And you're going to step up with your ring finger to the D string 6th fret. So listen carefully. So you hit those 2 notes and then just the 1 note on the D6 with your ring finger. And as you do that, right after you do that, you use your pinky on the A string 7th fret. Very subtle. And then after that, you're going to use your index finger again back to an A position. Again, I'm only using the D string 2nd fret and G string 2nd fret with my index finger and sliding them between the 2nd and the 4th twice, which is pretty basic. Now I'm going to use my index finger on the A string 4th fret, stepping up to the A string 6th fret and pinkying on the E string 7th fret. So it's almost exactly like what I just showed you, except it's just using 1 bass note lower. Instead of starting on the D string, we're starting on the A string. And it does that once. And then using your ring finger, you're going to slide the D and G from the 6th down to the G and D on the 4th. So it's kind of opposite of what I showed you in the first part. Instead of going up, it's going to go down. So let's play that through again, starting with the very intro. I'm going to do it real slow. Oops. One more time. And now we're going to keep that ring finger down. We're going to slide it all the way up to the 14th fret. And again, I'm just hitting the D and the G on the 14th, and I'm going to slide from 14 down to 11, down to 9, down to 6. But the strumming pattern is kind of unique because it kind of goes down on the 14th and down on the 9th. You'll hear it. And then I'm going to use my ring finger again on the 12th fret, B and E strings only. And this one's going to go 12, 9, 7. Basically, then I'm switching to 2nd string, 5th fret B, and 2nd finger, 5th fret B string, 2nd string. second finger, second string, 5th fret, first finger, E string, 4th fret. So partial D position, but played in the 4th fret instead of normally when you're playing D in the 2nd fret. So listen how it sounds. And those are just the G string from the 6th to the 4th. So I'm going to do that whole slide progression one more time. So that last little part is a harmonic on the B and the E string, 12th fret, and then it's a minor fragment, which is basically your ring finger on the G string, 13th fret, your second finger on the 2nd string, 12th fret, and your index finger on the E string, 11th fret. So it forms this really pretty minor position. Just those 3 strings, and I'm going to slide those down just 2 frets. And then I'm going back to another E major partial, but this time only on the G string 14, B string 14 with my pinky, and E string, 9, G string 9 fret with my ring finger, B string 9 fret with my pinky, and E string 7th fret with my index finger, and I'm not using my middle finger. So I'm going to play it starting with that slide thing one more time. And then just to open E, E major, the most basic position at the top of the neck. So that's the beginning of the song, and the singing starts right there. Let's talk on the street, it sounds so familiar. Now that's just A to B, and I'm using an open A, just the most basic A position. I'm not hitting the bass E, just the top 5 strings. And then when I make the B, I'm barring it with my pinky on the D, G, B strings in the 4th fret, and the bass string I'm hitting with my my first finger, A string, 2nd fret. Now you can also make the same chord doing this. So I'm using my fingers, one on each string for those 4th fret strings, and the same index finger on the bass. It just depends on what's more comfortable for you. I like to bar it, and if possible, you can get your pinky to come up here so you can still get your index finger, the bass, the bar of your index finger, to get that E string on the 2nd fret. That's the proper complete chord. It's tricky to do, so it's actually probably easier to do it like this. You don't have to play that E string 2nd fret. Just hitting those 4 strings is enough. So it's, let's talk on the street, it sounds so familiar. A to B, A. Great expectations, everybody's back to E, watching you. And that's those same exact chord fragments that we played in the intro. So let's do that intro. Let's do the first singing again, the first part. Let's talk on the street, it sounds so familiar. Great expectations, everybody's watching you. People you meet, they all seem to know you. Same thing, A to B. Even your old friends that's a partial E major starting on the fourth string with your second finger, second fret, first finger, third string, first fret, and then the two open top strings, B and E. And it's very simple. It's basically just a down picking on all four strings. Then you're going to slide up to ring finger, fourth string, fourth fret, first finger, G string, second fret, and then maintain those open notes. So this is how it's going to sound. And now it's a little kind of fun. We're basically going to a C sharp minor, but when we start the chord out, we're going to just play a partial, again starting on the D string, 6th fret with your ring finger, pinky on the G string, 6th fret, second finger on the B string, 5th fret, and first finger on the E string, 4th fret. And this is that partial B minor with a suspension. Sorry, it needs a suspension, so. So yeah, so the C sharp minor, ring finger, 4th fret, 6th, 4th string, 6th fret, pinky on the G string, 6th fret, 3rd string, pinky on the G string, 6th fret, second finger on the B string, 5th fret, and first finger on the E string, 4th fret. And that's going to give you this. And so that resolves from there to okay, sorry, I laid that down just a little bit off. So ultimately you're going to resolve to this position, which is 4th finger, D string, 6th fret, second finger, G string, 5th fret, and your index finger barring the B and the E in the 4th fret. But when we start that chord, we're going to lay down our pinky as a suspension on the G string. So instead of the second finger ringing out on the 5th fret, the pinky is going to ring out the G string on the 6th fret. So you've got 2 strings on the 6th, 2 strings on the 4th, and then you lift your pinky to let your second finger on the G string on the 5th fret play. So I'm going to play it one more time really slow. Oh, and now it goes to C sharp minor. Johnny come lately, and this is just F sharp major. A new kid in town. Now some people play it like this. Where you been lately? So that's just moving from a C sharp minor to a B major to that F sharp major. I personally kind of like to hold the C sharp minor. I'm not sure why. To my ear, it just sounds a little more true. But I noticed some of the other people play it. There's a little fill I'm going to get to in a second. But I play it like this. So I'm just holding that C sharp minor going to the F. And now the fill that comes in while it's playing that is, I'm going to play it once and I'll show it to you. Johnny come lately, a new kid in town. So that fill is basically on the D string, starting on the 6th fret, and hammering up with your, starting on the 6th fret D string with your first finger, hammering on that D string with your ring finger on the 8th fret, then stepping the whole thing down and hammering from the 4th to the 6th to the A string 4th fret, which is the bass, the root note of that C sharp minor. New kid in town, everybody loves you. Now it's going to go A to B. So that's the end of the first verse. And I apologize, I got the lyrics a little messed up. Johnny come lately, the new kid in town, everybody loves you. So it does it 3 times, then A. So don't let them down. Now it goes, so listen carefully. So don't let them down. So that's the end of the first verse and the intro into the second verse. It does that. You look in her eyes, the music begins to play. Okay, now it gets a little tricky. It plays essentially A to B, but instead of doing it down here, now you can do it down here if you're just sitting around the campfire and you don't want to mess things up. But if you really want to get it right, you're going to make this the first A position up here on the 12th fret, which is basically an exact octave all the way up from the 2nd to the 12th. Same fingers, same strings, just playing them on the 12th fret instead of the 2nd fret. So it's 4, it's a 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, all on the 12th fret. You hear that? And you're going to lay your index finger on the 12th fret of the E string, so you're going to get that high E. That's important because you're going to hear. So instead of going A to B like we've been doing, we're going to do A to B, but in this weird way. Listen carefully. It's going to go A down to the B. And I know it's crazy. This is how songwriting works. So this B is actually just a D position. So normally you play D down here in the 2nd and 3rd frets. I'm sure you know this chord very well. It's just a normal D. So you slide that all the way up so your first finger and your 2nd finger are on the G and E of the 11th fret, and your ring finger is on the B of the 12th. And that's going to give you a B chord, and you're going to hit the bass on the D string 11th, 13th, sorry, D string 13th is with your pinky. So it's a little tricky to step from here, but it's slow, so it gives you plenty of time to make that change. Hopeless romantics, here we go again. So you can go back to that E, or you can hit the E here, because what we're going to do is we're going to use this position on the 9th fret to start this next pretty run. After he sings Hopeless Romantics, here we go again. In the run, I'm gonna do it from here. Hopeless romantics, here we go again. Oops. So that run is your 2nd finger on the D string of the 9th fret, and your ring finger on the B string of the 9th fret, and you're muffling the G string. So you're just playing the D and the B in the 9th. And you're going to slide that down to the 7th. And then you're going to take your 2nd finger and slide it down 1 fret to the 6th, and your 1st finger you're going to put on the B string of the 5th. So it's 4th string, 6th fret, B string, 5th fret. Just for that one position, which is basically, again, is a partial C sharp minor position. And from there, you're going to go to back to your original position with your fingers, which is your ring finger on the D string 4th fret and pinky on the B string 4th fret, continually muffling the G string. It never plays. And it's 4th, 2nd to partial E chord. So actually, I played it a little bit wrong just a second ago. I like to play it with my 2nd finger on the D string and my ring finger on the B string. And the only time I change is for that middle section where I switch to the 1st finger on the B string because it's a half a fret down instead of on both of them on the 6th fret. Only the D string's on the 6th and the B string's on the 5th. So I'm gonna do it real slow. And now that is basically just a partial E chord with my 2nd finger on the A string, 2nd fret, and my 1st finger on the G string, 1st fret, not playing the D at all, but also playing the E bass. So I get those 3 notes: E, B, and D sharp, G sharp. You can just play an E chord right there as well if you want. So I mean, don't have to follow me note for note. I think they might just play that open E actually, just normal E. So starting from the Hopeless Romantics, here we go. So E bass, or you can play an E chord. So what's important is the timing of that strumming pattern. It's actually, he plays it on this thing called a Mexican guitarilla, and it's kind of a big old fat guitar and nylon strings, and so that run is kind of a classic Mexican style run that they do on that guitar. And listen carefully to the timing of it. Hopeless romantics, here we go again. After a while, you're looking the other way. Again, that A to B. It's those restless hearts that never mend. And when I say mend, I'm going back to that really cool open E, partial E. You'll hear it. So it's exactly like we did the first time, and now it's to the C sharp minor. Johnny come lately, the new kid in town. Will she still love you now when you're not around? Now I'm gonna do the solo.